So now I can kind of start swapping parts. This one had no power and good connectors. This one has a bad NES connector, but it did power, but it's the one that wouldn't update. So, I mean, the one thing that I want to do is to swap the main boards, and I'm not certain that they are anything more than just video and maybe power, because it looks like there's a big FPGA here that might actually be doing the emulation and whatnot. So I'm going to swap these boards and see if we can get this one to power. And it may still just say, you know, the firmware crap or whatever, but at least we know a lot of the power problem that was on this was on the main board or not. Okay, so that was more difficult than it needed to be because of the glue they put on all the connectors. I pulled the plastic out with that one over here, that piece of plastic. But I would definitely say disconnect the ribbon cables from the other boards, not the main board. And I would say get in there with a very small flat blade and start prying on one end and get your blade in there and start trying to separate the glue, because I pulled a little too hard on a couple of these and broke them, but I think they're still usable, so let's plug them in. We got power. So I'm going to guess we're going to see that firmware problem. It probably migrated from the other console to this one. Yep. I guess we could try to do the update on this one. I don't know how it's going to make any difference. So that tells me the no power problems are probably on that main board, which I kind of assumed it was going to be like that anyway. So I'll mark that one as no power. Yep. Installation failed again, so unfortunately whatever problem this one is having is not power related, but it does seem to be with the main board. So I'm going to mark that one as firmware failure. That's too bad. So let's look at some of the other ones. I don't know why, but this is the one that was working but has the messed up connectors on SNES and NES. And I just turned it on and it went in and said no cart in system or whatever it says. And I stuck the tennis in and it loaded immediately. I don't remember trying this game, but let's try the start down. Yep, there it is in the menu. Sweet. Guess B is back. Well, the one thing I was going to do with this one was swap out the guts or the main board to one of the other ones, since it has power and it seems to work but has bad connectors on it. I'll just swap it into that black one that I just put the bad firmware board into. Alright, transplant complete of that main board. I didn't hit the power button. I hope that's not a problem. See if I can do this Game Boy game trick again. Yep. I really don't like how it automatically plays though. Wonder if it's seeing button presses or something, because I mean it went straight into playing the game. Maybe I hit it, I don't know. But that's working. Try some other games. I never did get a Genesis game to boot, did I? And I would think Sega Genesis or Sonic the Hedgehog would be one of those games that should just work. I'm also curious if my wireless controller, it's flashing like it's got battery power at least. I got one light. Well, it loaded that time. Doesn't look very good. Yeah, wireless controller's working. It does automatically pause when going to the in-game menu like that. I really don't like how it resizes the image just based on the filtering. So apparently, can I not get to main menu? There we go. Wonder if I can just remove and insert other carts. Sure enough. Still doesn't know that cart. That's to be expected, I guess. Cool. I do like that. Does it seriously put me right back in the middle of the game? It did. Huh, that's weird. I didn't know it did that. I don't know how it does that. That must be the... Was that the main board from when I played this the first time around? Because I think that was the one that had the... Yeah, the jacked up pins, but it still worked. So... Actually, I'm going to say I can put this one back together and say that it's completely working. Although, I may not put it back together because if Kevin wants to look at a working one, then that's what we got here. That's interesting that it'll save where you were at in the game. I didn't know it did that. That's pretty interesting. So, we got one more. And it was doing a... turning on as soon as you plugged it in, that one. But I just plugged it in here a little bit ago, and it didn't do that. Well, I just seen it flash for a second. So I'm going to say that's probably just another mainboard problem, and I'm not really sure I want to put effort into it. I could probably put the bad firmware board in there just to see if it powers up. Guess I could do that real quick. Well, we can at least see if it powers up after the swap. So I should have left the lights on there and I didn't. I don't know if that'll actually affect it or not. And maybe the lights do need to be on there. I don't know why they would be, but we can make that happen real quick. It does not want to power on. Looks like everything's in there. So maybe the cartridge board is bad on this one. Alright, so the main board that came out of this one, I wrote no power on it, but maybe what I need to do is put it with a known, somewhat working cartridge board. Maybe even that black one. I want to say, I've already lost track. I want to say this one was the one that was completely working but had the messed up pins. Is that right? So let's put the main board into this one and see if it'll at least power up, because this one is not powering up, and I'm guessing since I got the firmware, the bad firmware board in there, it should power up, but it's not because there's something wrong with the cart board. Worth a shot. Let's see what happens. Alright, so this is the one that was the main board that used to just power right on. And I got power right away. The power button anyway, I do. Weird. Doesn't seem to be booting though, does it? See, the LED at the power button was flashing on. When I hit the power button, the status lights actually light up. But it's not actually booting. So it's maybe not, I mean, I guess it could still be a power problem. Maybe one of the other rails, you know, I mean, I guess it could have like 3325 and 18 or something like that. Maybe one of them isn't actually powering up. So until I have a better idea of what pins are what, I'm not really trying to investigate this a lot further. But we do have one complete working one with firmware that won't update, and two that seem to have no power. So that's as far as I want to take it for these Retron 5s. Hopefully we can do some video with Kevtris, or at least some follow-up video once he takes a look at them. Maybe he can spot some problems here or not, but hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so all that video was shot a week and a half ago, and I have since taken the Retrons to Kevtris' house, and he did look at them, and he has a pretty solid theory about why we're having the no power plague. I won't divulge it, I'll just let you wait for the video to be posted, but if you want to help, or if you have an idea of how to go about doing what he's saying, contact one of us, leave some comments, whatever.